Alright, here we are, end of November, about to finish off Destiny 2 Season 4. I wanted to take a minute and talk about my thoughts on the entire experience of grinding for both the Luna's Howl and the Not Forgotten hand cannons, as well as my overall experience playing the competitive playlist in Season 4. I'll do my best to keep it short, but no promises, there's kind of a lot to cover. I'm gonna kick things off with my bad list. Creative name, I know, took me 4 hours to think of. Everything on that list are things that I think maybe could have been done better or might need some tweaking moving forward. Then, because we're not a bunch of goddamned negative Nancys out here, to close out, I'm going to go over the good list, everything that feels right and good about grinding for the Not Forgotten and the Season 4 comp overall. Okay, bad stuff. For those of you who don't know, grinding for the Luna and especially the Not Forgotten takes a long ass time. For the Luna, you have to complete a quest that involves a lot of steps. Complete 10 matches in the comp playlist, get 150 hand cannon kills in the competitive playlist, get solar final blows in the competitive playlist, complete several matches of Rumble, then finally get 200 headshot kills in competitive with a hand cannon. After all that, you're not done, you have to reach Glory rank Fabled, aka hit 2100 points in the competitive playlist. Completing all that gives you the Luna's Howl. The Not Forgotten was a little more straightforward. After getting the Luna, you have a new quest, get 300 kills with the Luna in competitive, and then also hit rank Legend, aka get a whopping 5,450 points in comp. Right out the gate, two big things I did not like about these two weapon grinds, especially in obtaining the Luna. You feel extremely limited in playstyle. Like I mentioned, 150 hand cannon kills and then 200 headshot hand cannon kills. There were times in PvP where during the grind, I felt like using a different weapon. Maybe it was a wide open map like Eternity, maybe I just felt like switching to something different. Every time I switched to a weapon that wasn't a hand cannon, I got a nagging feeling in the back of my brain like I was wasting time, and eventually I would switch back to a hand cannon. Even worse, there were times where I knew in the moment that the right play was to charge an enemy down with my shotgun, or to use the power ammo that I had, or to use a grenade or a melee or whatever. But instead of doing that, instead of making the right decision for that moment, I was forcing myself to try and get hand cannon kills, even when the situation didn't call for it. The quest very much forces you into a specific playstyle, which can get kind of frustrating. A lot of people I know were, at that point, going into comp alone to just grind out getting hand cannon headshot kills, and they didn't even care if they won the game or not. I was one of those people. Capture the zone? Nah, we're already ahead in points, don't want the game to end too soon. Ignore the zones, go for hand cannon kills. Ignore the objective, ignore the strategy, ignore your teammates, ignore your conscience, acquire hand cannon kills. Can you imagine being a solo player trying to hit rank 2100 and being paired with some schmuck whose only goal is to get hand cannon precision kills, even if it means losing? I know Bungie probably wanted to spice things up with that quest, but it just kind of came off as frustrating. Why couldn't it just have been get to rank 2100 in PvP by any means necessary? Do whatever playstyle is most enjoyable to you. Use whatever weapons you enjoy, and when you get enough wins, hey, here's your prize. This was especially annoying when I eventually started fighting people in comp who had gotten a Luna's Howl already, and I was forced to use a hand cannon back at them. Look, if someone has a Luna, you can counter that, but your counter options are way more limited when you feel you need to be using one specific type of weapon. Otherwise, you're not progressing towards your goal. And on that note, another thing that really grinded my gears, the quest to get the Luna and the Not Forgotten wasn't transferable between characters. That's right, if you started your Luna progression on one class like a Warlock, then decided halfway through you'd rather finish it up on a Hunter or a Titan, you're boned. You would have to start all over again, go back to Shaxx, get the quest from scratch, get all your hand cannon kills over again. Ugh. Again, if the only goal was to just hit whatever rank by any means necessary, this wouldn't be an issue. Next up, the punishment of solo players. This one is tricky, but I genuinely do feel bad for players out there who wanted to obtain the Luna, or especially the Not Forgotten, alone. Either because they don't have friends who play Destiny, or they're just lone wolves by nature. Yeah, you can solo queue in competitive, and to be fair, I know a lot of people who got their Luna by queuing solo. Kudos to them. Getting the Not Forgotten though, so far I have not heard of one person doing that completely alone. Going into competitive without a pre-arranged team puts players at a direct disadvantage, and at the top level of PvP, when you're right at the end of your Not Forgotten grind, it's unheard of. Not only are you at a disadvantage, but it's probably impossible for a solo player to find a match. Again, at the high end of ranked play, so few people go in alone that I can't imagine you'd ever even find teammates to play with. You only match against other teams of 4 at the high end of the spectrum, so even finding a match would be a nightmare. I don't really know how to solve that, quote, problem, if you want to call it that, but it might be worth looking into adding some kind of ranked competitive rumble game type for people who like to play solo. I think more people would be encouraged to hop on and play if they knew that they at least had that option. I know competitive rumble could potentially lead to new problems like matchmaking manipulation, but I think somehow Bungie could probably make it work. All I know is that if you're a solo player, you have a better chance of finding an oil well in your bathroom than getting the Not Forgotten without a group. I won't get too held up on details. Maybe with competitive rumble you could do top 2 players get elo, 3rd place doesn't gain any but doesn't lose any elo, bottom 3 lose elo. I don't know. I'm glad we have ranked 4v4, but I think it would be fun to have ranked rumble. Don't add me. Another downside, real quick. Man, Bungie, could you please give us the option to vote for and veto certain game types and maps in the pre-match lobby? You know, Halo style? I know, it's a comp grind, and good teams should be prepared to play on any map and play any game type, but I think there are a select few maps and game types that are almost universally hated among the PvP community. Also, I've gotta imagine that data would probably be valuable to you, right? Knowing which game types and maps players love and which ones we don't? Eh? Win-win scenario there, eh, Bungie? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, moving right along. Last item on the bad list, and this might be more of a personal pet peeve. I don't like how the matchmaking in comp works. And yeah, I know, talking about matchmaking, way overdone, boring, lame, whatever, here we are. If you don't know, here's how it works. At least, here's how I think, and other people I know think it works. Feel free to correct me, Bungie. If you go into competitive with a team, the game does not take every player's rank, add it all up, and then average it all out. No. It only looks at the rank of the highest ranked player in the fire team and finds other players of that rank. I understand how that makes sense on paper, but I did find it really frustrating that I flat out could not play with some of my friends past a certain point. I really wanted to help multiple friends of mine finish their grind for the Luna's Howl, but I just couldn't. If they're ranked 1,000 or 500 and I'm all the way up past rank 5,000, if we played together, we're going to be put into games with other people at rank 5,000 rather than meeting somewhere in the middle. Before you type that angry comment that I know you're already halfway through, yeah, I get it. It's just to make sure that really good players are kept fighting all other really good players. Still though, I wanted to help people. It's in my nature. Playing PvP with members of the community and helping them reach achievements, to me, is something that's very traditional Destiny. Helping Guardians go flawless for the first time in Trials is something I took great pride in when Trials was still around. It was fun, and you can help other Guardians learn as you play together. Being able to tell a friend, look, I want to help you, but I can't. The matchmaking will end up hurting you, was kind of disappointing. I don't really know what the answer to that problem is. Maybe there isn't one. I would think that in a perfect world, averaging out all the ranks on a team would make even matches. Unsure. but I wanted to put it out there. Alright, now let's talk about the good stuff. Trophy weapons, in general, I think are a great addition to Destiny. They give you something to go for, a reward that you can sit back, look at, and go, oh hell yeah, I earned that. Something that other players can look at and see. It's a point of pride, and not only that, the Luna and the Not Forgotten are hella practical. If you have one and you've used it in PvP, you know exactly what I'm talking about. These two guns are great. This isn't something like an emblem that you can only admire visually. It's something that you want to have because it's noticeably good in-game. Having two weapons, by the way, also a great move by Bungie. I've heard a lot of people saying, what's the point? They're too similar, but that's what makes it great. Think about it. If Bungie only offered us the Not Forgotten, so many players would have been like, hit max rank and do all of that other stuff? Yeah, fuck that noise. That's not for me, that's for the hardest of the hardcore, the quote, no-lifers, the sweatiest of the sweaty. But the Luna? Only half the rank grind? Hey, that's not so bad, I can do that. And it's just a little different than the Not Forgotten. Boom, players are in PvP, grinding for the Luna. You got the great weapon obtainable by the regular PvP going population, and the only slighter greater weapon for the true diehards. Two weapons to earn. Everybody can get a taste. That's another good thing. The Luna was way more attainable than the Claymore from Season 3. Bungie hasn't given us the numbers yet on how many players got the Luna, but I'm taking bets right now that it's more than the Claymore by a lot. That's partially due to the big changes in the sandbox meta going into Forsaken. You know, the re-addition of radar, bringing shotguns, fusions, and snipers back to the primary positions, better time to kill, all that stuff. Overall, grinding for the Luna in Season 4, as much of a chore as it was infinitely more enjoyable than going for the Claymore in Season 3, where every other game I wanted to bash myself over the head with my own PlayStation. Despite the frustration of the Season 4 comp grind, the rough matches, the hard losses, at the end of the day, earning the Luna and then the Not Forgotten will hands down be one of the most memorable times of my entire history playing Destiny. A big claim, but yeah, I already know. It is a true Pinnacle reward. The climb was rough, but finally getting to the top of that mountain was a crazy feeling of accomplishment. I know it's really corny, but that tagline Bungie always hits us with, you know, become legend, it actually felt that way. Having us grind for badass, meaningful trophy weapons is one of the coolest parts about this game, and I'm glad that Bungie actually gave us a great reason to play comp in Season 4. Again, there's plenty of room for improvement, but favorite season of comp so far in D2 without question. Granted, that's not much of an accomplishment so far, but you know what I mean. Hopefully, moving forward, Bungie gives us more meaningful achievements like this to shoot for. Anyway, we've all got different opinions and I want to hear yours. Hit me with your thoughts down in the comment section. Did you like Season 4 PvP? Did you hate it? Did you go for the Luna? Did you go for the Not Forgotten? What did Bungie do right and what did they do wrong with this grind in your eyes? Tell me. If you enjoyed today's content, please consider clicking the like button and subbing to the channel. Follow me on Twitch for live gameplay and also giveaways, but mostly fun gameplay and a great community. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.